Fresh team. Fresh team. Fresh team.
All right, what's good, YouTube team? It's the FreshCast coming to you with another banger video. Today's video is gonna be just a little bit different. We're not necessarily watching trailers and discussing them. Today, we're gonna be talking about just games in general and the state of gaming right now, and our personal opinions about it. And this is our opinions. This is not, anybody else's opinion. Just ours. You know what I'm saying? So you guys
Right.
can, comment down below if you guys agree, disagree, how you guys are feeling as well about the kind of the current gaming state as well, about the topic that we're talking about. Like always, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the video. Please, please, please. It really helps. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys join the website, freshteam.tv, and let's get into it.
Oh yeah.
So today's topic, it might be something that be on some people's mind, or maybe not a lot of people thinking about it, but we thought about it and we said, you know what? Maybe we should just hop on the cast and talk about it. So, point number one that we're going to be discussing today is the difficulty of new gaming. And what we mean by the
Hmm.
difficulty is how hard is it to complete compared to how hard games were back then to complete. Is it still on the same pace? Is it harder? Is it not as hard? You know what I'm saying? So, what are
Facts.
your thoughts on that?
You know, I mean, I guess we should both just name like what okay, for me, the most
Mm-hmm.
hardest game I've played as of lately, um hmm. Wow. Yeah, I guess when I think about hard games,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think about this era of gaming, to be honest with you. Like no
I mean,
game is
that's a
like
fair point.
yeah, like I think challenging, I start to think of like nostalgic games, not necessarily what's
Okay.
out today. Contra or like
Mm-hmm.
some
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
things that gave me a challenge, you when you die, you got to start back from the beginning and stuff
Yes,
like
yo,
that.
Contra still haunts me in my nightmares to this day. Contra 3 to be specific on the Super Nintendo. I put so many hours of pain
Mm,
into that game just to get reset.
I remember that game. You had that game?
Yes, bro. Oh my gosh. The amount of hours I have poured into that game is ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen the end credits of that game.
No, same. Unless it was on
But
YouTube.
I will say I think there's only a specific genre of new games that are difficult.
Mm,
I think if it's like it's like everybody knows the Dark Souls type of game, like
mm,
the Elden Ring, the Diablo 4, the
mm.
those type of games that like have like these hard bosses that you have to like dodge perfectly or parry perfectly. Like
Right.
those are the hard games right now. I feel like it's flip flopped because it used to be the story games used to be pretty hard to finish because you used to have to play on like nightmare mode where like you get hit one time, you got to start over again. Like and
Mm,
you're trying to do this like perfect. You have to do a perfect run. They don't really have that like anymore. Like, me watching and also playing some of these games. Like for instance, the new 007 game that came out.
mm.
People were doing playthroughs and they're playing on the hardest mode, but their technically their hard mode was they just gave the enemies helmets. So you had instead of being able to like one tap them on the head, you had to three tap them on the head. That's
uh,
that's not hard. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like that's not nightmare, bro. I remember playing
Mm,
Gears of War on nightmare mode, bro. That
what?
was a headache. I'm talking
Yeah.
about literally as soon as you peaked, your screen is red. Like you're about to die, bro. Like playing Gears of War on nightmare mode was like
Mm.
you really like sweating. And I feel like nowadays the story games specifically don't make you sweat, but the Dark Soul games do. Those games are hard. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I
People
feel
put
that.
in like 1,000+ hours on Elder Ring, bro, and still have not completed all the bosses because just they just take days on some of the bosses because it's just like you gotta dodge perfectly every single time. You can't mess up at all. Like you only have so many chances before you just run out of potions to heal yourself and you're dead. Now there is curse. Of course, there's ways to cheese the boss a little bit, but that's not as fun. and you still have to technically play perfectly, even though you're cheesing, because if you get hit, you know what I'm saying, you're instantly dead. So
Yeah, that's facts. That nightmare mode. I have it with Resident Evil.
oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, playing that on hard is like a freaking nightmare for real. Like that shit is
Yes.
crazy.
But I also will say, I personally think that people don't actually like difficult games. I think people
Mm,
just like watching people play difficult games. I think that's really what it comes down to nowadays. I think people don't actually like struggling anymore. Like, for instance, a game that's not necessarily difficult,
mm-hmm.
but kind of difficult a little bit, like the whole era where we had like only up, chain together. You know what I mean? Like those type of games where you just have to
Ah,
like keep climbing a tower. Like, you
right.
know what I mean? Like they're not necessarily they're difficult, but they're not necessarily like completely like impossible. They just like, take a little bit of like grinding, you know what I'm saying? Like to get it right, to make sure you get these jumps timed perfectly, make sure you take your time, go up slow. Like they're not necessarily hard, but people like games like that was like a little bit of challenging, but I feel like when the game becomes too challenging, like I feel like if they had like a nightmare, Gears of War, Halo type of game, right now I think a lot of people complain like, oh, it's too hard. I can't even get past the first chapter because I just die instantly. As soon as every time I just try to touch something, like I just die instantly,
Mm,
and I just keep getting a reset, reset, reset. People will get frustrated. They'll quit. I feel like people quit a lot easier now. Back then, we didn't necessarily quit as easy. We were too focused on trying to complete it. Like we didn't care. Like we were gonna figure it out. Like there was no quitting on
exactly.
this game that your mom spent $40 on. You gonna finish this game, like or you got the game from Game not GameStop, Blockbuster. You got the game from Blockbuster. You
Oh,
only
you
have it for the
rented it
weekend
for the
because
week?
you rented it for the weekend. You gotta finish this game. There is no not finishing this game.
That's
You know
a
what I'm saying? There's no putting
fact.
it down and picking it back up.
Yo,
So
yeah, you made, yeah, that Halo mention. I forgot about Halo. Halo is also one of those games on hard where it's like,
yeah,
geez, like that shit is freaking, yeah, it's
you get
crazy.
touched one time, your screen is red and you're dying.
Right,
That thing goes
literally.
that little sound that it makes
Yeah. do
until your sure recharges. Yeah.
do you consider okay, so like, I mean, I know you actually do love and play Civilization. Do you think
Oh
that
yeah.
strategy games are like, would that be considered, pretty difficult to an average player?
I
Because
think to an
Civilization is great.
average person, I think it's not. I don't. So I don't want to say civilization is difficult. It's
Mm,
difficult to understand at first, but once you understand, you're like,
mm,
oh my gosh, things start connecting the dots. When I
right.
first, so when I first saw Civilization, my pops was playing it. He was playing, and I was like, dang, what is this game? And I was trying to figure out what was going on because there
Mm,
was like a lot going on. But as I watched more, I started understanding. So Civilization is just um how would I describe? It's a strategy game, but I'm trying to describe like what kind of strategy game it is. Like you're pretty much you pick a conqueror and you start your civilization. So you pretty much start with nothing. Like I think I forgot what BC started. In. Like you pretty much start with like nothing at all, and you're building your city. You're trying to either conquer the world through war, trying to conquer the world through science, or trying to conquer the world through religion. So pretty much you're trying to take over the whole map and make everybody join your religion, or you're trying to be the most aggressive person out there and get to bombing people straight away and taking over their area and becoming the president of you're pretty much attacking the
the
area and
U.S.
then taking over. Yeah, you're pretty much taking over. Or you're trying to be the smartest country out there and trying to outsmart everybody and just trying to get to landing on the moon first. I think is what the main goal was.
Oh, okay.
So those are your three type of options that you can do. So you pretty much pick how you want to start your civilization and what you want them to research, like what you want them to focus on. It's very, very intricate. Like if you ever played a civilization game, like at first it's gonna be confusing. It's gonna make you not really want to play because like too much going on, too much information. But once you start understanding and learning, because like, you're like, oh wait, and you start like, oh wait, hold on, and then you spend like days on this game, like just playing
Mm,
over and over again because it's such an easy game to play over and over again because you can get different outcomes and you can go different routes and you can take different routes and you can pick different conquerors which they have different abilities and they boost and gain different things. Like it's so intricate that game is like it's a great game if you like those type of games, but if you don't like those type of games, I mean you're not
mm.
gonna like the type of games. I mean it is what it is. So
So you're saying that like it's more of like there's a lot to digest rather than it being
Yes. It's
hard.
not difficult. It's just a lot to digest. But once you understand and digest it, you understand that it's actually not that difficult. It's actually pretty simple. Like
Facts.
they explain everything to you, but it's just like a matter of just being able to digest everything they're explaining to you. Because like I said, when you first see it, there's a lot of things to do, and it's turn based. So you only have like a certain amount of things to, you only do a certain amount of things in your turn anyway. So it's like once you start picking up, but like that's some things you learn. You know what I'm saying, by playing the game.
Facts. There's this industry number going around claiming that on
Hmm.
average about 10 to 30% of players see the game credits, meaning they only 10 to 30% finish a game. What do you think about that fact right there? You think that's true? How do you what do you think?
So that's kind of like my point earlier where I said I think people are just not finishing games nowadays. I think,
Mhm.
well, I will say like, so on the most games that you can finish and see end credits are the story based games like your, God of War type of games.
Mhm.
Those are only games that you can see end credits. A lot of games you don't even get a chance to see end credit, so there's technically no such thing as an end credit for them. Like there's technically no such thing as an end credit. I mean, there is end credit, but there's no such thing as an end credit really for Elden Ring players because they keep
Mhm.
dropping new DLCs. So technically, they'll never reach an end credit. They're always grinding trying to fight these bosses, or people might just be stuck on a boss and they can't finish the boss, so that's why they don't see an end credit. But they're not necessarily they didn't give up. They're just grinding, trying to get better gear to go fight this boss again. So
Yeah.
I think I think that's not really a fair thing to say because I think a lot of games don't even have an end credit, and I think what the problem is a lot of people don't want to play story games anymore. I think that kind of goes to like one of my points. Like I think the definition and the expectation of what a difficulty is like it's shifted like so much to where like people don't necessarily expect a story game to be difficult, but they expect like a Dark Souls type of game to be difficult. If that makes sense, like they don't want their God of War game to be. They want to just play through God of War, play the story, understand what the story is, get the lore. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Watch a couple cutscenes that are beautifully graphic. You know what I'm saying? Their graphics are gorgeous and all that stuff. Get through the fight scenes. They don't necessarily want it to be like that difficult. You know what I mean? Like for example, you know what I mean? Zombies. Zombies
Oh,
is one of those games, bro.
on
Back
Call
in
of
the day,
Duty?
used to be difficult. Yeah, Call of Duty Zombies.
Oh,
Back in
facts.
the day, used to be difficult, bro. People used. I remember a time when Black Ops 3, not the best. That's not to say it's the best one, but it is one of the greatest zombies that we've had.
Black
I'm
Ops
not saying
3?
it's the best. Black Ops 3 Zombies was one of
Hold
the greatest that we had
up.
because of what came after Black Ops 3 Zombies. Because they have so many like modded maps on like you can make right now on Black Ops 3, bro. It's crazy.
Really?
It's crazy. Like people have made full different type of zombie games on Black Ops 3 from their engine because you can mod the Black Ops 3 maps on Steam. So like you can play like modded maps on Steam from Black Ops 3, which is why I say it is one of the greatest.
Huh.
So but to my point, I remember I remember watching and also playing and spending hours trying to figure out an Easter egg, bro. Because there was no
Mm.
hints, there was no guides, there was
Right.
nothing, bro. It was just you and this goddamn Easter egg, and you trying to figure you literally spam clicking on walls, trying to hope something happens, trying to hear a sound, trying
How
to hope
did
something
people
pings.
figure that out? Like, what
Some
the
people are
heck?
just really really like that smart. Like me watching people, bro. Like when they were
Mm.
doing like the Shangri-La Easter egg, bro. Some people are just that smart. Like they think that intricate. They're like, bro, what if they put the desk, put this here and that there, and you got to put this. Like some people actually think like that. Like some
Right.
people
No,
actually think like that.
facts. That's a fact.
They think outside of the box so much because they've done it before. So now when you do
Hmm.
one Easter egg, it gets you start thinking like that for every Easter egg. You're like, oh, it's not simple. It has to be complicated.
Yeah.
Compared to like the now zombies, they kind of hold your hand a little bit. They're like, hey, you got to do this next. Like, yes, of course, there's a couple steps that you got to figure out, but they do a lot of hand holding, which is why the zombie community was kind of dying a little bit.
Mm.
So I think the streamers of the zombie community didn't like the easy Easter eggs, but the calm casual player base loved the easy Easter eggs because now they have a chance to actually do it because they didn't like the complicated version. They love when the people put out guides on how to do it. But the people who were hunting these eggs, they were kind of losing that thrill a little bit because it's like it's so easy. They're walking me through the Easter egg at this point. They're pretty much telling me what to do. Like when back then they didn't tell
Right.
you what to do. There was no help. There was literally just you and this Easter egg, and it spent days. Nowadays they're completed in like 12, 13 hours. Back then, bro, it took like 2, 3 days before like people were joining in together trying to figure this out because
True.
nobody could figure it out.
You know what? That's a really good point. And there was a whole, I mean, not was, there is still a whole community that branched off, especially for like retro
Mm-hmm.
games, of like speed running communities. Like people
Yes.
just finding glitches, and because they've played this literally
Mm-hmm.
1,000 times. So you're right. People do have the mind to like think, oh, what if I just jump here? Like,
Exactly. Some people just think like that. Some people just like, I wonder if what happens if I just do this.
right. That's
And you're gonna
so
always have those people that are gonna break your game.
that's true.
And some
Right.
developers like that. Some developers are like, dang, I didn't even know that you could do that. And they, they patch it,
Right.
of course, they fix it. Or sometimes they leave it. Sometimes they're like, I mean, whatever, they found it. Like, I mean, we'll reward them for finding it, but we'll fix the other glitches.
Right.
So I mean, I think, like I said, I think this is just the fact that it's a shift right now in the gaming industry. I think the shift is going toward people just only want to play multiplayer shooters. That's all they care about. A good
Mm,
multiplayer shooter. And that kind of, segues a little bit into like our next topic of, is gaming losing the importance because of how easy the games are becoming?
right.
And, me saying that statement, I'm trying to say pretty much like the story games are boring now and people just want to play multiplayer because that's where the thrill is. I think people are leaning more toward a game that has multiplayer because they don't want to play by themselves anymore. People are tired of playing by themselves. They don't have that, you know, like how back in the day for us, like we technically had no choice but to play by ourselves because there was no multiplayer on anything unless your homies came
True.
over, your cousins or your brothers or your sisters wanted to play with you. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Co-op.
You didn't. There was no multiplayer. It was just you by yourself. So
True.
we had no choice but to play a bunch of single player games, and that's what we enjoyed playing because
Hmm.
that's all we had. Now everybody's been introduced to this multiplayer world. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want that anymore. Nobody wants to play through a co-op. I mean, not a co-op, but a story mode by themselves. And unless they really care about the game like that, they don't really care about the story no more. They just want to get on the game and shoot a gun, or get on the game and fight and box. You know what I'm saying? That's all they want. That's all they really want to do nowadays. So
Yeah, and
I think it's just because of the way the game world has just shifted
mhm.
that the game developers know this. So when they make a story game, they don't make it as hard as they used to because they know people just want to get through it so they can either play multiplayer or just get through it because they just want to play the game. They don't want to spend days upon weeks upon playing it. Even though me as a gamer, I hate a game that's too fast. Like I hate when I hear, oh, the game could be completed in 12 hours. To me, that means the game is
Yeah.
easy.
Right.
To me, that means the game doesn't have that. Like the game is probably a good game still, but to me, when you complete the game in 12 hours, I mean, I don't sit there for 12 hours to try to complete the game. But to me, that
Yeah.
tells me that's not gonna take me that long to complete the game. It's gonna take me like a day or two to complete the game,
True. Right.
and that upsets me. I like when I hear a game, oh, the game took 24 hours or the game took like 18 hours, because that means you sat there for 18 hours trying to complete the game, which means that me as a casual player probably gonna take me like a week to finish the game.
Right.
Playing a couple hours a day.
And you're getting your bang for your buck.
Yeah, I'm getting the bang for my buck. When I hear 12 hours, I'm like, that's 2 days, bro. That's 6 hours. I'm done.
That's
I'm
facts.
done in like 2 days. I'm like, I don't want to fit my game in 2 days, bro. I want my game to last a little bit because now, and that makes me not want to buy it because now I'm spending $70 for 2 days of worth of gaming because it doesn't have anything besides the storyline.
Mhm.
That's another thing too. Why would I buy a solo single player game and it has nothing besides that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So how do you feel about because um there's this whole thing like you said, games are becoming a little bit too easy. Like I know
mhm.
that Zelda, like Ocarina of Time, that we
Yes,
covered on the last pod,
classic
classic
card game.
game.
Hmm.
Right, and it wasn't force fed to you. You had to read the signs. You had to talk to the NPCs,
Hmm.
to know what to do, where to go. Nowadays, it seems like in all these AAA games, they kind of lay out the roadmap. They show you, they give you a compass. Like even
You can
Genshin,
say
they
you can say, Cuzzo, they hold your hand.
they hold your hand.
They're holding your hand through this. They're holding your hand through the game.
Do
You can
you
press a button to like scan the whole area to see where to go next. They're holding your
right?
hand.
Do you think that affects gaming in general? Like does it like how do I say? Like does it make it like better or worse for the experience, you know?
I think that is low key what is ruining the gaming space without
Mm,
even knowing that is ruining the gaming space. Because, like I said, you have the people who like that because they don't like to think. They like to just get on the game and do. They don't like to try to think outside the box. They just want to play the game and relax. And you have the
right.
people who like that and need that. Like, I gotta think. I want to be able to think when I play my game. I want to be like, oh, okay, what should I try here? You know what I mean? Like, and so they don't. There's no middle ground for that. I feel like unless you just play a different type of game. But
Mm.
there's no way for them to fix it anymore because they already started holding everybody's hands. So now they got to continue to hold everybody's hands because then you would just lose one side of the coin. And I think there's just I think there's just more people that want their handhold through a story than there is that people that don't. I think a lot of people just don't care enough to try to figure it out. So they either just
Hmm.
drop the game or just not get it when they hear that it's hard to get through
Do you think
because
that's a
they just
generational thing?
I think that's just the way it's not even. I don't want to say it's a generational thing. I think it's the way the gaming world has just started feeding us because they
Mm-hmm.
the ones that started giving us the games that were holding our hands and making it easier to get through,
Mm.
and we unknowingly, we're just playing these games and realizing that, oh wait, this was a little easier than I remember back in the day it being. Oh, this game not that bad trying to get through. Oh wait, this is a lot easier me trying to play nightmare mode because they telling me everything I need to do and I don't die as fast. And it's like then you start thinking like, dang, do I really like dying that much? You know what I mean? Like now you got to ask yourself like, dang, do I really want to struggle that bad, or do I just
Right.
want to get through the game?
Well,
Like
there
so.
was this big argument, and I can even I actually have like a little bit of like firsthand experience because I
Mhm.
did buy Pokemon. Was it X? I think X. Oh no, Sword and
Okay, yeah.
Shield.
You Sword and Shield, yeah.
And before like when you go to Misty and
Mhm.
and early Pokemon, that route was filled with like maybe 20 trainers that you had to fight in and battle, and you would
Yes. Mhm.
win, you have to run back to the Poke Center, heal up, and go back.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
Now it's not like, I feel like you don't have, it's not that urgent, or it's not that difficult to get
Mhm.
through like Sword and Shield. Like, I literally, my first starter 7, I kept them and I just dominated.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I
mhm.
I think I think they're trying to get everybody to want to enjoy the game by making sure that it's not so hard for the most casual player, but
Mhm.
they lose the tryhards, like the people that like the challenge. They're
Right.
kind of losing us a little bit, but we're still playing because we still like the game.
Mhm.
So in a way, they're technically not losing us, but they are kind of losing us a little bit because I mean, I will say, like I said, I don't think people play story mode games like that anymore. I think a
I
lot of
agree.
people are on this competitive mode right now. Like they just love competitive games. Like
Mhm.
everybody wants to compete right now. I think if your game doesn't have a competitive mode, it's gonna probably fail. I mean, that's just like a big storyline, like God of War, something like that.
Right.
I think it doesn't have a good competitive mode. Like for instance, like Gears of War that's coming out and Halo are
Mhm.
coming out. They have to have a good multiplayer, bro, or their
Yeah.
game is gonna fail. Nobody, I don't want to say nobody, but a lot of people do not care about the story mode. They're gonna
Uh,
play it, of course. They're
right.
gonna play it, of course. But their multiplayer is gonna make or break their game. If they get on
Yeah.
Gears of War multiplayer and it does not feel nostalgic to them, it does not hit, it does not feel good, it's choppy, it does not run well, people are gonna hate the game. Even though you had a great, amazing story, they're gonna hate the game because right now everybody just wants to compete. You're gonna have people who are not gonna play your story mode. They're gonna just go straight to online. They're gonna go straight to competing because that's how much people I think right now just want to. They need to compete. They need to box against each other playing Smash Bros or hop on COD or hop on Modern Warfare or whatever it is. They any kind of shooter they can find. Like they just Apex, Fortnite. Like people just want to compete. They want to go head to head with other people. And they get a thrill out of that, even though sometimes it's frustrating. You know what I'm saying? They just
Mhm.
that's what they want, though. That's why games like Marvel Rival are doing so good. Overwatch, Fortnite, Apex. They're doing so well because they have a good competitive mode, and
But
I think that's what drives your game.
But I read a fact somewhere that like the average age of
Hmm.
like the average gamer
Yeah.
nowadays is like kind of our generation, kind of like 30 to well, they said
Hmm.
like 35, 37 was like the average aim of a gamer now, and I feel like
Okay.
that base is the people who was playing those games back in the day with no checkpoints and
Yeah.
like hard games. So it's like with knowing that most players are from that generation, wouldn't it make sense to feed that base if they're the ones supporting all of the games coming out? Like, because the newer generation, what do they play? Fortnite and all these
Yeah.
live service games. Like, that's all
Minecraft and
they.
all that stuff. I mean,
Right.
I will say no. I mean, I don't want to knock on my generation because I mean,
Mm,
that's what we from. We love gaming.
facts.
Like that's really why the games be doing so well because you got a big generation of people like we grew up on those games.
Right.
But it's kind of the same thing that happened to like our parents, like with their gaming.
Mm,
The gaming for them is completely different as well. Like the Atari and like the
yeah.
the Pac-Man arcade machine, all that stuff. Like that's the kind of games they were playing. Like, you know what I
True.
mean? That was with their games. Their peak games are normal gaming like with
Mm,
the Super Nintendo all that stuff. That's their peak gaming. You know what I'm
that's a
saying?
fact.
That's their peak. That's what they had. That's what they already had that as an adult. They were playing Contra as an adult. So technically you got to feed the next generation because that's who's going to be buying the games next. So
Right.
you want to drag them in now, like kind of like how they did for us. Like they kind of dragged us in when we were younger with all these beautiful colors and screens and all that stuff that kept making us want to play games, play games, play games. So as they kept making better consoles and better graphics and better games, we kept buying because they already got us when we were young. So you always want to focus on the young because the old is already. Now I don't want to say out the door, but you know what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, pretty much
Already
though.
got one foot out the door. So you want to grab the next generation and start getting them hooked onto gaming. So the way you do that is by making sure you cater to what they want. And the attention spans, that's unfortunately the attention span for the younger generation is not as much as we used to have as attention span. So they don't want to sit for 13, 16, 15, 40 hours on a game. They want to get the game done. They want to finish. They're all
Yeah.
about completing the game. So if the game is too hard, they're not going to complete it. If the game is too long, they're not going to complete it. They want to finish the game and go on to the next game. So they're catering to that audience, which I don't blame them because that's your next consumer audience. So yeah, cater to them. But you are losing us, us older generation gamers who are really pushing your games for real because they can't afford the games we can. But technically,
Hmm.
they technically doing both because we the ones who have the kids are consuming the games. So technically, we're still buying it anyway. But
That's
so
true.
either way, it's still smart for them to cater to the younger generation because if we're not buying it, we have to buy it for them. So either way, it's getting bought for the next generation. So either way, the next generation is still the ones consuming it and being the main consumer of it, even though it looks like that we're the ones playing it. I think a lot of people don't realize that people let their kids play on their accounts, the single player games. So it looks
Hmm.
like you're playing it and it looks like we're playing it, but really we're not even touching the game. Or we might play it after they done played it and told us, oh, or we watched them play it and we helped them a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, well, we're not necessarily playing it for us. I think our generation is so focused on multiplayer games that
Hmm.
we don't really play single player games like that. I'd be surprised, if the numbers were high on the single player versus multiplayer. I think our generation is really heavy on multiplayer.
Is there a need for that type of companionship? Because I think we were talking about Halo before, and kind of like
Hmm.
there was this just camaraderie and like this huge community of people who just went crazy on multiplayers.
Yeah.
Do you think that we need, or like there's this like epidemic of people who cannot just play single games, like they have to have some like co-op or some
Hmm.
type of community based game? Like, is there this like, I guess we can call it like gamer loneliness? Like,
I I will say, unfortunately, I think most games that don't have a fun competitive mode are gonna die out quickly. Like I said a little
Mm,
earlier, I
yeah.
think I think if your game doesn't have, I think the problem isn't that people don't want to play by themselves. I think the problem is it's just more fun to play with your homies. And at the end of the day, I think that's just what people understand. People started understanding as we started being able to connect more with our friends. Like I remember when the first Xbox came out, and you were able to chat with your friends on the Xbox or the PlayStation, bro. And you used to be happy to party chat and just talk to each other. I mean, you can't really game that much yet because the games were starting to come out. Then the started games started to come out like you play multiplayer, but then you start being able to play with your friends online. You both getting off school, be like, hey, make sure you get online, bro. As soon as you get off home, make sure you do your homework and get online, bro. And we
Facts.
all online at a certain time. and we're all just gaming. And I think that feeling versus how you used to feel when you weren't able to do that because you had a Super Nintendo, all that stuff, and you couldn't game online. Going from playing by yourself to being able to play with other people, I think it's just a matter of a human nature where people just seek out other human interactions.
Right.
Of course, there are people that don't like human interactions. There's people who like to be, alone and left alone. They love their solo player games because they want to play a game by themselves. They don't have to do nothing else. There's always going to be people like that. But I think the masses thrive a human interaction, which is why having multiplayer makes or breaks your game, and having a good multiplayer makes or breaks your game because you can have a multiplayer, but people can consider it bad, and your game can die for that. So having a good multiplayer and having good human interactions, I think, really pushes your game. That's why Arc Raiders went crazy. Like Arc
Right.
Raiders it took over the world, bro. It was everybody and their mother was playing Arc Raiders.
That's true.
Hours on end. And all it is an extraction shooter. But guess what? You can play an extraction shooter with your friends. And it was a good extraction shooter. That's the difference. It wasn't just an extraction shooter. It was a good extraction shooter that you could play with your friends. And it was simple and it was easy. You go in, you find loot, you come out. You can kill people if you want to, or you can be friendly if you want to. The choice is all yours. When you do that for people and give them the choice and give them the options and you just give them the game to play, and let them just play the game, that's how your game thrives. And that's why Arc Raiders did so well. Where they
Facts.
had everybody in the chokehold. I mean, the game right now is dying out because I think that's just because of the how
Marathon?
much. No, Marathon didn't do anything to the game.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Marathon low key flopped.
Did
I
it?
mean, it didn't flop, but it flopped. Like it's not
Yeah.
a bad game. I like Marathon. A lot of people still play
Mm.
Marathon, but it didn't do as big as they thought it was gonna do because people didn't like the art style of Marathon.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's the team. That's the thing about you got to do it good, or you can just do the game. Marathon kind of just did an extraction shooter. They didn't do a good extraction shooter to some people.
Mm.
Arc Raiders was still superior, so people went back to Arc Raiders. But I think the reason why people are not playing Arc Raiders right now is the burnout. I call it the burnout. You always
Mm.
experience a burnout when you play a game every single day. You're gonna get burnt out eventually, and I don't want people to think that Arc Raiders is now a bad game because people are not playing anymore. No, they're
Mm.
just burnt out. You can only extract so many times. When you extract for 4 months straight,
Mm.
you want to play something else. I'm just be honest.
Nah, I feel
Like
that.
there's only so much extraction you can be doing. Don't think that people don't like the game anymore and because they're not playing it. No, they just need a break because you can only extract so much
Do you feel
before you
like
like, all right.
they're gonna add maybe different modes or something to Arc
They
Raiders?
they may. I mean, they have the window to do that. I mean, they can keep it as the game. Honestly, they can keep Arc Raiders as it is. Like I said, it's not a bad game. They just
Mm.
keep updating it. They can just keep doing it. People are gonna come back to this game probably like, excuse me, in like a year or so when the burnout is over. They're gonna
Mm.
come back to like, oh, Arc Raiders come back, and they're gonna keep playing. They're gonna get addicted to it again because it's a very easy game to get addicted to. Because again, it's just a simple extraction shooter just done right. So all you have to do is get onto the game, extract, find loot, kill people if you want to, don't kill people if you don't want to, and get out.
I feel
So
it.
people are gonna always probably come back to this game. It's gonna be like an escape from Tarkov, where they come, they play for a while, they get addicted, then they leave, and then it's like one of those games where it's not a bad game because people stop playing it. It's just they get burnt out because like you only could do so much of the same thing over and over again before you mentally just like, all right, I need a break and play a different game because not that you're tired of extracting, but you're tired of extracting. Like you're
Right.
like, all right, I need to do something else. Like I need to play a different game because when you're playing that game, like you have people playing this game literally for 6 months straight from when it came out until like I think like February, bro. Until they were playing it every day for 10 plus hours. You know how many hours some people put in this game? People have like over 1,000 plus hours in an extraction shooter. You know how many extraction that is?
Right.
Like you
Over a
cannot get
thousand.
mad at people who just stop playing the game, bro. They need a break. Take your break, because I say because my game for like that is Dofus. Every once in a
That's
while,
one. Yep.
I get on a little Dofus kick, and oh my gosh, I'm playing that game every day for 10 plus hours for like months straight, and then I stop playing because I get burnt out because I did so much in one setting that now I'm like, all right, I need a mental break. I can't look at Dofus anymore because I've been playing it for the last 2 months for 8 plus hours a day.
I
Like you
feel
just need a
that.
mental break to be like, all right, I gotta play different games. and then you come back like later on, like maybe like a couple months later, a year later, you come back and it gives you back that thrill again. Like, okay, now I'm addicted to it again. Like it's good to do that too as well, so you don't just delete the game as well. Because you don't want everyone to delete one of your favorite games, but that's what's gonna happen if you just keep forcing yourself to play. You're gonna get tired, and you're gonna just end up deleting it and uninstalling.
Facts, yeah. I feel that, man. I would want to say before you do our outro, I do want to read this quote from the creator of Elden Ring, and it
Okay.
says, "Hardship is what gives meaning to the experience. So it's not something we're willing to abandon. It's our identity." How do you feel about that?
Hardship is what gives meaning to the experience. I like that. Like, yeah, because
Mhm.
you remember you remember the worst moments in a game. I feel like the amount of times you died. Like you're like, okay, this boss,
Right.
I died at this boss 100 times. You don't remember the boss that you killed like in a couple tries. You remember the boss that took you 200 tries. You're like, bro,
Yeah.
this boss, whatever the name of the boss is, you're gonna remember that boss until literally 10 years later. Like, bro, I remember when I was playing the game and I died to this boss like 1,000 times, bro, and I just couldn't
True.
get the boss dead. Like, yes, I do. I like that quote. That hardship is what gives meaning to the experience. I like, yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Same here. Same here.
Because it also it gives you that competitive thing that I'm talking about, like that you want to get it, you want to beat this boss because now the boss is kind of low key trying you a little bit, like saying that you can't beat the boss, like because you done died 200 times. You know, so now
Right.
it's like, do you let the boss win or do you kill this boss?
Yeah.
You got to get to that mental state, like, nah, I ain't gonna let this boss just keep beating me up like this. I'm gonna fight back.
That's a
You know
good.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah. That's a great point too. The ones that you constantly are doing over, and the ones that challenge you the most are the ones that you remember. That's a fact.
exactly.
Facts.
So without further ado, guys, we appreciate you guys again for watching. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe, man. Appreciate you guys again. Remember, comment down below what your opinions are about what we talked about. And also, if you would like to join in on the podcast, let us know. Make sure you guys join the website at freshteam.tv.
Gang, gang,
That's
gang.
freshteam.tv. That's with a PH as well, not with a FR. It's a PH.
True.
Fresh. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Y'all be easy and breezy like Cover Girl. You know what it is, Murder Gang, Brother Gang. Fresh Team TV, baby. Splat!